Okay, some simple theory on the keyboard using just the key of C, which is just the white keys, which makes it simple. That way we know we've got the right notes. Alright, you'll look at a keyboard and see that there are 2 black keys, then 3, then 2, then 3, alternating all the way up and down the keyboard. If you locate the 2 black keys, go just to the left, to the white key, that's the key note C. The next note up is D, E, F, G, and now we've used up the musical alphabet, so we have to start over again at A. This is the 6th step up the scale. B is 7, and C is 8, or the same as 1, and that's what you call an octave. This is going to be the 1 chord. It's starting on 1. We're going to add a third above it, and then we're going to add a third above that. And it gets pretty obvious immediately that there's something a little different about these 2 thirds that are stacked above each other. From here to here is what's called 2 whole steps. That's defined as a major third. From here to here is a third, E, F, G, but it's only a half step and a whole step, or a step and a half altogether. The outside distance is 3.5 steps total. Let's do this on the 2 chord. Here we've got the minor third, step and a half, with the major third above it. The outside distance is 3.5 steps again. Let's immediately compare this back to C. What if we went a step and a half and then 2 whole steps? Well, that's pretty easy to see a step and a half there. 1.5. Now 2 whole steps goes from here to here and from there to there. Just maybe a little bit trickier to see. Okay, there's the difference between the 2 chords. There's the 1 chord, and here's the construction of the 2 chord. You can hear the difference. This is major, and this is minor. Sunny, bright, happy. It's minor chords being sad, gloomy, rainy day, bluesy. So here's our 2 chord, our minor chord. Here's our 3 chord. So that's another minor chord. Here's your 4 chord. That's the same as a 1 chord in construction. 2 whole steps and a step and a half. Here's our 5 chord. 2 whole steps and a step and a half. Here's our 6 chord. Step and a half and 2 whole steps. So this is a minor chord again. And then our 7 chord. Something different about this chord. Step and a half from 1 to the 3rd, and then from the 3rd to the 5th is also a step and a half. Alright, let's compare this back to C, all the way back to C. Now, I can slide all the way down here or just simply move up to C. Raise that a half step, raise that a half step, and raise that a half step. Now I'm going to use 2 hands to show you this. Now we have a minor chord, but the 5th is lowered a half step, or diminished, and that's where the chord gets its name. That is a diminished chord. So the chord types are major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Here's a little follow-up to make sure we're on the same page. We were comparing the 1 chord and the 2 chord. Okay, and there's a couple of different ways to think of this. This is notes number 2, 4, and 6 out of the scale, but we can also think of them in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in terms of the construction of the chord itself without relation to the scale. And see that that can indeed be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using this as 1 now. Okay, and then we're comparing it back to our real 1, 3, 5 and discovering that we have a step and a half and 2 whole steps, which looks like that if we use this as a root. Same thing up here, and we're going to compare it all the way back, a step and a half and a step and a half. Let's go all the way down here. Step and a half and a step and a half. That's a diminished chord. Each of the steps of the scale has got a specific technical term, technical name, and it comes in handy to know those later on when you talk about different chords. Number 1 is the keynote of the tonality that you're in, so it's called the tone or the tonic chord. This is right above the tonic chord and it's called the supertonic. We'll come back to this one. Let's go all the way up to this one right away. This tone, the 5th tone, is called the dominant tone. Now we're going to work our way down. Subdominant, easy to understand. Tonic, supertonic, dominant, subdominant. This one right here is halfway between the tonic and the dominant, and it's called the mediant. Here's the subdominant and the tonic taken from here up to here, and this one's right in between them. It's between the subdominant and the tonic. It's called the submediant. This one is called the leading tone. Not easy to stop there. You want to hear that note. It's called the leading tone. Notice that it's a half step below the tonic. And here's just a little cheap trick. This is a half step above the tonic and sometimes can be called the upper leading tone. Okay, here's the 1 chord, voiced the same as we played it on the keyboard. And what you have to be aware of here is that we're going to use the open 3rd string. It's the same as fingering a fret back here. Alright. There's our 1 chord. Now our 2 chord starts on the 2nd note of the scale, incorporates the 4th note and the 6th notes of the scale. There's our D minor chord. E minor is the same thing, 2 frets higher. Our 4 and 5 chords are just like our 1 chord. Here's the F chord 4. Here's the G chord 5. This is the 10th fret here. Oops. Here's the 6th chord, A minor. This is the 12th fret. And the 7 chord starts on the 14th fret. And as you can see, not real practical chords. Since you're moving up the neck, you get way up to the 14th fret just to get through your first set of chords.